Ladies, are you seeing what men with money can really do? Absolutely nothing. So why are you on your knees to a currency that has put you at a value that is below you? Hmm? That means every boy or every girl you birth is inherently already underneath the financial system. And we've seen once that financial system, which is not controlled by men of God, and which is not controlled predominantly by nine ether men, decides it's no longer profitable for Spirit Airlines to exist, they end it. Where it's no longer profitable for all these programs for single mothers, for families, for drug addicts, for victims, X, Y, and Z are no longer profitable, they cut them. You know why? Because these were not men and women of God who cared about community. They masquerade as it. However, when it came down to the bottom line, it was about them and theirs. So this is very dangerous to have once you're in survival mode and everyone around you is not being honest with who they really are. And those who are honest, well, as history's shown, they get deleted, or they get slandered, or they get freaking absolutely no type of true support, a breadcrumb to the point when they break or when they fall short or they, have their moment of, slipping, they get sacrificed. It is what it is. However, we're going to reap what we sow at the end of the day. So, what we're feeling, what we're seeing is the seeds are now sprouting. And so many of the tainted fruits that we put into the mouths of our children, of our families, of our, agriculture, everything that we've done is now having its effect on us. Some are elevating because they avoided it. And so now you're starting to see they are able to glow because a lot of the structures that were emitting such dark and demonic frequencies, just bombarding us with such low frequencies, are falling away. Those who know how to thrive under the natural sun, organic lifestyle are thriving because you realize it was always the way with technology. One in one, the singularity of all things, is peace and love, the one love, the true love of God. However, many people express it in many different ways, and that was a no-no to the system. So all those who didn't fit within the Western judicial, whatever, I don't even try to pronounce that word, the white Christian way, got X'd out. They were the demons, they were the enemies. And so, the same way we see these, you know, camps being built in our Everglades here in South Florida, the same way we built these prisons all over the world was to first strip you black women of your men, the same way we've seen how they're handling the immigrant Hispanic men. Rinse, wash, and repeat. At the end of the day, you remove your strong men, you leave the puppets, then the children who are growing up have no true leadership. You move in the agitators. The agitators create this back and forth, quasi gang wars, military war, terrorism wars. And then the white man comes and bombards it all, destroys it all, takes the resources, have their way with the women and children, especially the children, especially the boys. And then they say they're the heroes and that they're going to give you democracy. They're going to give you rights. They're going to give you equality health care. They're going to give you Medicaid. They're going to give you EBT. They're going to give you X, Y, and Z, free housing, free housing. We're going to not touch your children, but you can't have a man in your household. Okay, man? That's what your government has told you. So who are these men in suits who are governing your lives? Uh-oh. Because it does say we don't fight flesh and blood, but we do fight with what? The spirit. What kind of spirits are walking around in these flesh and blood suits? Are they drinking and eating flesh and blood too? Because there are a lot of missing men, women, and children. And all those who are willing to speak about it keep going missing. That should send off red flags to all our local men who sworn to protect and serve us. However, we see who's what serves what. That even makes sense? We see who serves who. And that dollar has a pretty strong grip on a lot of men and women. And so, Money speaks louder than missing children. Money speaks louder than, you know, corporations abandoning thousands, millions of people. Money speaks louder than the poisoning of the land. Money speaks louder than the sacrificing and the extreme, truly I mean extreme, poor living conditions most of the world is now living in at the expense of profit. These are decisions we all going to have to make and how we're going to deal with it. Many of us have taken action in many forms. And some, well, they're just sitting back trying to reap the benefits. However, in endgame, it's all about truly being who God told you to be. And our actions are going to show the fruits of our. I'm not even going to stop right there. I'm going to have to even cut that out. Peace.